Welcome to Facebook Live. I'm Mohammad Rajamia, Managing Director of TCL Global. I have guest Kiran Isar, Recruitment Team Manager for South Asia from London South University. Karan, thank you very much for joining us today. I really appreciate your valuable time today. And hopefully viewers will be learn more about the London South Bank University, the courses, and how the company is operating in this difficult time, as well as in the recruitment, and we'll be talking about the September intake. So, Karan, we actually start with you, please. Introduce yourself and brief about the South Bank University, please.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think thank you so much for giving us the opportunity, Mr. Mohammed and TCL Global. Hi, guys. My name is Karan. I'm the Regional Recruitment Team Officer for London South Bank University. I directly handle South Asia region minus India. So countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal are my direct markets. But I've got team members in South Asia, Southeast Asia, East Asia, MENA region, and Europe as well. I mean, I think it's a fantastic opportunity for us to kind of just talk a little bit about London South Bank University, and at the same time for students as well to kind of gather as much as they can in these unprecedented kind of situations. But just to kind of give you a quick outlook on London South Bank University, we are a public university based out of Newington. We started in 1992, so 126 years old as a university. Very cosmopolitan in nature. I think London South Bank as a university, it's one of the largest universities in London with over 18,000 students from 130 plus countries. Main campus is located in Southwark, which is a short walk from major landmarks, and it's near the south bank of River Thames. That's how the name kind of came in. And otherwise, I think practical education employability has always given a strong focus at the university with its central London location, and provides close link to business and the industry.
It's fantastic. I think when I was at the fair in Dhaka, sorry, my colleague was in fair in Dhaka. So we saw that huge demand about the London South Bank. Lots of inquiries are still coming, especially from the Bangladesh. So what would be your advice that the student who actually shown the interest in our fair, would you that for the September plan as it is will go ahead for the September intake?
Yeah, I mean, I think absolutely. I mean, I feel it's a difficult situation to be in. I mean, I think as a university, we are pretty much we've got a green signal for September at the moment. We're working very closely with the government to monitor the situation both in our home country and also in countries from where a lot of students are coming in. But it looks like, Mr. Mohammed, that flexibility is definitely going to be the name of game. I think all of us are going through something that we never imagined, and we are coping with it. I'm sure students will do that. I think what my only message to students at this point in time is that they should definitely have confidence in us. Know that universities are trying to do their best, and I think end of the day, human beings are known. The human spirit has always been there, and they'll definitely come up with the solution. So I think for those who are worried about what it means for the future education, whether those who kind of came back to Bangladesh and now looking at going back, or those who eventually want to go for the new intake, or those who want to kind of participate, I think unis are working very, very hard, and students should not. I don't think students will get penalized because of this situation, and I think common sense is something which is definitely going to prevail.
Okay, especially South Asia, especially in Bangladesh, the student always asked our colleague the question about the scholarship, and the deadline. How much scholarship? Can you please tell a little bit about the scholarship? Is there any scholarship available for international students?
Yes, I mean, I think as a university, we definitely welcome and encourage students from all across the world to kind of study with us, and we offer a range of scholarships. We've got an international scholarship to kind of start with. I think as a university, we value the academic and cultural diversity the international students bring to the university, and as a part of that, we offer a partial scholarship of £1,570 to all these funded, overseas fee-paying students who are undertaking undergrad, postgrad, or PhD studies. I think the eligibility criteria is pretty simple. They should hold a valid offer from LSBU. It should be for a full-time program. They should be self-funded and not somebody who is coming through a financial sponsorship. And the program should be for at least 1 year in duration.
Okay.
In addition,
Sorry, any deadline for applying scholarship?
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of deadlines, so basically, I think something which is great with LSBU is that when a student is making an application, at the same time, you don't need to separately apply, for scholarships. So the application deadlines are 31st July. As I said, at the moment, we are pretty much on September. This is subject to
Okay.
change. We know that the situations are kind of moving here and there, but at the moment, I think the deadlines are 31st July for applications. So it has to be in line with that. But I think in addition to that, we also have a merit scholarship for students. As a university, we also kind of aim at recognizing and rewarding exceptional talent, enabling academically strong candidates to take their studies to the next level. So at an undergrad level, we are required. I mean, we offer a £3,000 scholarship, and at a
Okay,
postgrad
that's
level,
good,
we offer
really good amount.
£4,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So for undergrad again 3,000, and for postgrad £4,000.
okay, fantastic. As you know that, especially this in this crisis, lots of students are facing difficulties for the sitting for IELTS test or TOEFL.
Yeah.
So, what would be the advice for the students? Whether any alternative test that South Bank actually going to accept or already accepting, like
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Yeah, it's a I think pretty much a valid question. I mean, I think as a university, we, as I said, we are working day night to kind of work to find out the best possible solutions at this moment. So I would suggest we should be coming up very soon with an alternative because we understand the situation that students are in. And as I've said, I think universities will have to come up with flexible options. At the moment, we don't have it, but watch out for your mails. We should be getting some update very, very soon.
also do you have any January intake, January courses offering
Yes.
university?
Yes. So as a university, we generally have the September intake and Jan intake. September intake is obviously the biggest one, and then we've got a Jan intake as well.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. If you tell me a little bit about the campus facilities, please, overall facilities of the Soundbank, please, yeah, and how many campuses, one campus or multiple campuses, please.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Just before we kind of, I just kind of wanted to quickly highlight one thing which was kind of pending on
Yeah,
the scholarships, which I
yeah,
think is very, very valid for kids. I think I mean, the scholarships that we offer, be it the international scholarship or the merit scholarship, it's important to know that these scholarships will be offered in the following years as well. So it's not only for the
okay,
first year. You'll get the same
okay.
scholarship in, like for an undergrad, you'll get it every year, provided you are fulfilling the basic requirement of passing all the exams. So, important thing number one, the scholarship, whatever scholarship you get, you will get it for the following years as well, year two and year three as well. Also, you get offered either an international scholarship or a merit scholarship. So, if somebody is getting a merit scholarship, then they won't be getting an international scholarship. So, if
Okay.
I'm an undergrad student, I can eventually save £9,000 over 3 years, which I think
Oh,
is it's a pretty huge saving for a student,
yeah.
especially when we look from South Asia angle.
Yeah. So I think it's a fantastic opportunity if they're getting every year at least 3,000. I think it's a huge help for them. It's a huge help for them. I think already we're getting some question from the viewers. Viewers, thank you very much for staying with us. Please don't forget to share our live session with Karan Isar from London South Bank. And please ask your question. If you have any question, please out in comment box. We'll try to answer your question. Okay, we can take, before we go, we have a slide presentation from Karan where we'll find more details about the university. Please, Karan, let me know when you want to jump in. Maybe we can take some question. Okay,
Yeah,
from Arafat,
absolutely.
which university can I apply without IELTS test?
Yeah, I mean, I think, as I've said, at the moment we are evaluating the situation, but I would suggest please, contact the inquiries team, and they'll be able to check if you have got an alternative qualification that we accept. We'll also be able to advise if you can take an alternative test to the one stated in your offer. So as I've said, the university is absolutely all in for flexibility. We're also looking at some alternatives at the moment, but please get in touch with the university, with the inquiries team. Maybe
Yeah,
Mr. Mohammed, I can share some details with you, and the student can get in touch with you, and
yes.
you can post in the query on behalf of the student to the university. But yeah, as I've
Yeah.
said, please send an email, and the university will be happy to kind of look at some alternative qualifications that can be accepted.
Sure. Viewers, if any of the points, any of the question or discussion you are not clear, more than welcome to discuss or contact our team based in Bangladesh, in UK, Portsmouth, and in Bangladesh as well, in Sylhet office, as well in our Kuwait office and Bangladesh office. Please stay with us. Hopefully, we'll be able to answer your question. Okay, we got another question. Okay, great to see. Not to know about something business management courses. Okay, this is the question from Samim.
Yeah.
So, in our business management courses, I think, Karan.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think with respect to, I think the School of Business has been doing fantastic over the past 3-4 years. I think there has been a big makeover of the business school as well. I think right from basic things like, a Bloomberg lab to using basic softwares like SPSL is something which is pretty much part of the curriculum. And I think students, something which is great about the business school is that I think a good handful, a number of courses are coming with internship and placement. That's something that I think all South Asians want, right? I think something that everybody's for is eventually a job. So I think that helps, especially with the business school. Okay. And I'm happy to kind of share more information. If you want, I can share the link right now with the student, and you can look at more information.
Sure. Thank you, Karan. Yes, viewers, please leave your comments. If you have any question, we'll try to answer your questions. If you have any, after this session, if you have any other inquiries, please contact our team. You can find our details in our website as well in our Facebook page. Okay, Karan, we can go a little bit about the application process, about the UG and foundation and PG. So, do you offer undergraduate and foundation as well for international students?
Yeah. So, what do you suggest that I maybe take everyone through the deck, and that kind of covers all those areas?
Okay. It will be nice. Okay, so we can go. Hello, viewers. We're going to for presentations, and we'll learn more from the Karan. Yes, Karan, you can go for the slide. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So, I mean, I think just to kind of give a quick intro on LSBU once again, we are a 126 years old university right in the heart of central London in Zone 1. Very, very diverse as a university, about 18,000 students from 130 plus countries. Now, this is something which is very, very important for us.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, this would only be a stat, but I'll just give you a quick answer for this. There's a research done 2 years back which said that South Asians sometimes find difficult to find a job in the UK because it's difficult for us to sometimes adapt ourselves in a cross-cultural environment. And I think it is true to a certain extent, because I think we always feel more comfortable with somebody from our own country or maybe somebody from our own region. Now, please try and understand that eventually when you're going to be looking out for a job outside, you will not have all Britishers. You will have people from different countries, different parts of the world. So the more you know about them, the culture, what they like, what they don't like, it helps you to break, it's like an easy icebreaker. So I think you're getting a fantastic opportunity to be at a university wherein you're in a class of, let's say, 50, wherein you've got people from 50 students are from 30 or 40 countries. So such a diverse crowd, it leads to more innovation, it leads to more creativity, and eventually it helps you as an individual as well. Majority of the courses at the university are either accredited or they're developed in partnership with professional bodies. Once again, I think we are right in the heart of central London in Zone 1. And I think I'm going to talk more about the campus as well. I think one of the biggest questions that I get asked from a lot of people, be it our partners, be it students, when we travel outside, is why should I join London South Bank University? And I'm an interesting story with you, which I think is going to help solve this. When I was looking at my training to kind of visit the university and learn a little bit more about the university, I wanted to go at a time when I could meet a lot of international kids. So I preferred going in the month of September last year so that I could learn more from students why they took up this option. Why did they join London South Bank University? So in the month of September last year, when I met a lot of kids, I got a lot of strange answers. Like, for a good students, they said, our consultants kind of recommended us, and that's the reason we joined. There were a few who said, my uncle, my aunt cannot stay nearby, and that's the reason we joined. There were a few who were very extrovert, who said, my best friend, my boyfriend, my girlfriend cannot was joining in. There were a good handful who had very clear answers. And that is something that I adored. I liked it, that they were so young, but still they had complete clarity on why they were joining that university. And these were some of the answers that kind of came out. Central London location, support services, industry partnerships, cutting edge research, accredited courses, and finally employability. Now, this is something which I wasn't expecting from especially the undergrad kids. And they had very, very good examples to, explain everything. Now, when I talk about Central London location, there are two sides. So there is one definition which I can say is that, right in the heart of Central London, all the big places, House of Parliament, Big Ben, Buckingham Palace, some cultural places, Tate Modern, Tate Britain, from understanding and learning the culture, you want to visit places, Leicester Square, Piccadilly Circus, Oxford Street, all these places are within 10 to 12 minutes distance. There's another definition to this and why it becomes so important. Now, the student basically asked me a question that, Karan, where did you last visit with your family? And I was very surprised. And I said, I went to a hill station called Mussoorie in India. His next question was, how did you select the hotel? I was like, I had a fair kind of budget in mind. I used like an website, and I was also keen because I was looking at 4 or 5 places that I wanted to visit in that hill station. So I was looking at proximity. I was also looking at something which was easily accessible. And he said that you have got such a valid point. It's a basic rule of thumb. You've got a budget, you've got accessibility as a point, and proximity. He said you are traveling within your own country for 4 days, and you're applying this rule of thumb. What happens to students when they're traveling outside to a different country wherein they don't know anybody, and where they're not going to be spending 4 days, but they're going to be spending 3 years or maybe 4 years or maybe 1 or 2 years with master's courses? So he said that a lot of students who are coming, they're ignoring the importance of a location. Just if you talk in the context of Bangladesh, why are people from small towns coming to places like Dhaka and Chittagong? Because more employment opportunities. There are more opportunities in these areas. It's a simple fact. You've seen something like this in your own. Why is Gulshan area very, very popular? Why would a company like, just think, if you've got something as a big firm will always prefer opening something in an area which is more prominent rather than an area which is going to take some time to develop. So location is always going to have its more importance. And I think it's important that students understand the value of a location. If I talk from an employment angle as well, you pick up architecture, you pick up law, you pick up fashion, you pick up marketing. I think it's, London kind of covers all those areas. And the closer that you are to that location, it helps. And I think just from a learning angle, for those students who are not aware, London is structured into 6 zones. Okay, Zone 1 is the central-most zone. So in Bangladesh, maybe in Dhaka, I would say Gulshan. It could be maybe like a central location. So, you are right in the center, and everything is around you. Exactly. As I said, when you're traveling outside, when you're going out for studies, you also want to develop, your personality as an individual, and that's going to happen when you go out, look at different places. It could be
surrounding is very, very important. The surrounding where you live, exactly.
Absolutely. So that's the location. Now, second is support and student services. Something that we as a university boast about is the employability. We are known for employability, and I think as a university, they're trying to ensure that students are getting access to all the facilities that they would be using when they enter a corporate world. So we're trying to provide them with all the facilities so that they get used to it, so that by the time they enter the corporate world, they pretty much know everything, beats the software, beats the technique, beats the machine, beats anything. And right from something like a psychology lab to a forensic lab to a pub lab to an eye tracker, a spatial analysis informatics lab, or digital architectural robotics lab, a real-time labor ward, a word lab, you name anything, we have it in the university for students. Also, right from the day an offer is made to a student till the time they actually graduate to the university, there is a team which is there to assist them with everything. Okay. I think industry partnerships very, very crucial. Again, as I said, it's all connected to employability in a way. If we have got good industry partnerships, it's going to help us in numerous ways. Number one, by having good industry partnerships, it helps us get a lot of industry leaders to come down to the university and deliver sessions to students, share their knowledge, their wisdom, their failures, their successes. And I think for a student, it's a good experience to kind of learn from people who have been doing so well in their lives. And I think at the same time, build rapport with them. Also, I think when you've got people at good level, that you have got a good connection with, it helps you to get a lot of feedback, which helps you make changes in your curriculum as well. Because with whatever changes that are happening at a corporate level, you will see an impact of that happening at the curriculums that are designed by the faculties. So that's also something that becomes very, very important. I think as a university, we have been involved in wide variety of research, which involves partnership with government and, private companies as well. Something which is great about the university is that we try and use that research as a case study with students in classes. So because as a university, we very strongly feel that a collaborative, motivated environment is always going to be the key to student success. Accredited courses, as I've said, majority courses are either accredited or developed in partnership with professional bodies. For students who are looking at taking up professional examinations later, once they can complete their degrees, they get exemptions. Like for courses like ACCA, you get exemptions up to 9 exams. Similarly with CIMA as well. Now, all these points are important, but employability, I think, for our students is going to be the most important thing. It's important that all of us try and understand what do we essentially want. I'll give you a short example. 10 years back, when parents were looking for schools for students, they used to say, okay, I want a school which has got great academics. Then the needs shifted. They said, now we're looking out for a school which has got great, extracurricular activities, because they wanted a combination of academics plus extracurriculars. Then the need again shifted and people started saying, oh, we want a school which has got great academics, has got, extracurriculars as well, but also a counselor. Because eventually we feel that a student is going to be moving from a school to a college. And so we want somebody who is guiding my student right from day one as to how to apply, and where to apply, right? So essentially for you as students, now that you are completing your studies, you need to have clarity in your mind that what do you eventually want? Yes, we want good education in a good college at a certain fee, but what is the end result? You want a degree, but what do you want? I think from when I talk to kids, a lot of people, like, they take time, but then they eventually, through an exercise, they say, yes, we want to stay there. We want to work. We want to learn. We want to learn the best practices. So if you want to stay in there for a longer period, what you need for that? You need money for that. How will you get money? You need a job for that. How will you get a job? Now, that's a big question, and it's an important question. If you want a job, no university guarantees a job. So it's the bigger question that you have for universities: how are you going to help me find a job? That's one of the important questions that every student should be looking at. Now, only talking from an employability angle, I'm just going to stay mum for a second and throw some facts. So we are the only university which has been awarded University of the Year for graduate employment 2 years in a row. Okay, an average graduate salary is 11th best in the country. Awarded silver, by TEF, which is again a voluntary organization. Top 20 in UK for graduate prospects, and London's #1 modern university for graduate prospects. So, as I've said, I think everything at our university is going to be connected to employability, be it our curriculum, be the course, how it's structured, be how it kind of moves from day one to the last day for a student. So that's a fair bit about why somebody should be looking at London South Bank. Now, to your question around location and where we are kind of situated, I'm going to give you a quick 3D view. So this is how the university looks like. Okay. As I said, right in the heart of central London, Zone 1. I'm going to give a quick virtual tour to everyone. Out here, you can see where the cursor is moving. This is the tube station, which is called Elephant and Castle. So we are situated in Elephant and Castle, and the tube station is just 2 minutes from the university by walk. So people in the UK prefer walking, and they walk really fast. So you have to be kind of really quick with them sometimes. So that's the tube station. You enter the university. Every building that you're seeing right now belongs to London South Bank University. There is no rented place. Everything belongs to us. Okay, something that we feel proud about, because I think if you do your research, you'll find that there will be a lot of universities in London, but they will not be as big as London South Bank University. And it's hard to find, because in a place like London, you will not find a lot of places, like a lot of unis at just one place. You will have a lot of universities which will have one building at one area and maybe the other part of the university 3 streets down the lane. It doesn't give you like a feeling of a campus. Okay. And just talking about campus as well, I think for South Asians, for students, I think all of us have studied in schools which had a big playing field, which had like an amphitheater, a canteen. So I think we've always had some of the other emotions attached, right? Even if you start thinking about your school or your college, you'll start getting a good feeling that this is an area where we used to spend a lot of time, and that's what you ideally want. You're not spending a few pounds, you're spending a large amount of money. That's your parents' hard-earned money. So when you're going outside, you can't ignore the fact, how does your university look, where it is situated, and what's the campus life be like. right? So again, this is the Elephant and Castle, 2 minutes walk. That's the admissions and recruitment center. So whenever I get to kind of visit and kind of
Yeah.
the university, my team, the domestic team and the international team operates from here. That's the Techno Park. This is something where the chancellors, vice chancellor, provost, all senior member kind of operate from. So students do visit this area once or twice, but if you find more than that, then I'm 100% sure you've done something wrong for which you've actually been caught. Right behind that, you can see the Keyword Center. This is our School of Architecture. This is one of our tallest building, a beautiful building, and I think the School of Architecture students get to see a great view of London from the 9th floor. Right next to Keyword, you can see over here, we've got the Perry's Library on the right. The Perry's Library, it's open 24/7. So as a student, let's say midnight, you realize, shit, I wanted to complete my project. You can enter the library at 3 a.m., let's say, get yourself a MacBook issued and start working on your project. So
Really
and
good.
then,
4 hours.
yeah,
It's really good.
yeah.
Really good.
And you also kind of get an access to the digital library as well. A lot of recreational activities are behind the Faraday wing out here. Coming back to Keyword Center, next to Keyword Center is K2 building, which is home to School of Health and Social Sciences. Next to it is called the London South Bank Business School. Now, the business school earlier did not had its own building, but because it has been doing fantastic over the past 3-4 years, it's got its own building now. It has totally changed, and I think it looks amazing. Also, very important for students, we have got 13 cafes at the university. Okay, so it's not that you're limited only to one cafe. You know, you want to hang out with your friends, you want to sit down and kind of chit chat. So many places for you guys to sit and kind of enjoy. I think this area is something that I love the most, which is called the Student Center, because this is also home to the Student Union. And we have got about 70 societies at the university. So if any society is doing any event, it's always going to be happening at the Student Center. So this area is always going to be crowded and going to love the feeling and the vibe of the student area. Coming from this side towards the Boroughs Road, this is called McLaren House. Very, very important. Okay, McLaren House is one of the 4 accommodations that the university has. Okay, now imagine this house is hardly like what 30-40 seconds from the university. So you just cross the street and you enter the university. Safety, security, saves time, saves your money, gives you convenience. Whatever you want, you're getting it. It's right opposite to the university, and trust me, you're right in central London in zone 1. From those perspectives, everything is around you, whatever you want. And I think from a parent's angle, when they obviously are concerned about safety and security, it's pretty much there because the accommodation also belongs to London South Bank University. So we also have got control over that.
Is it like a granted accommodation for first year students?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So all international students are guaranteed accommodation, provided they're making an application before the 31st of July. Very, very important.
You can do online, yeah? Online application.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to be talking a little bit more about accommodation later as well, but I just wanted to tell them about accommodation here. Something which I feel is something that a lot of students like is the Clarence Center. Now, this Clarence Center is right opposite to McLaren House. This is home to more than 70 startups. We as a university have supporting more than we have supported in the past more than 70 startups, more than 1,400 startups, and more than 23 student startups as well. At the moment, this Clarence Center is home to more than 70 entrepreneurs working from there. So there are people who are working in the field of business, marketing, ed tech, fintech, any area you pick up, you'll have people kind of working in that area. And what it holds for students now. So as a university, they kind of operate from this area, but in return, they help our students as mentors, as guides, as judges in competition. In a lot of cases, you'll find a lot of students getting an internship and sometimes placements as well. And I think for a student, there is a high probability that you might find something at the university. Number one, learning different entrepreneurs, the life of an entrepreneur, their successes, their failures, how they handle, because at some point, I'm sure you would like to contribute to your own country, to your economy, and kind of be an entrepreneur. Number two, high probability of you finding an internship, because end of the day, entrepreneurs also want interns to kind of support them. So you might find something by sitting at the university. And number three, there's so much knowledge, because different people, different startups in different fields, you learn so much by just being at the university. Okay,
I think it's very, very unique features actually, because the unique things actually, because I don't think that this sort of facilities that every university have, that sort of startups, the connections,
Yes,
industry connection. I think this is a really great thing to mention.
absolutely.
Great
And
thing.
and something very, very important, Mr. Mohammed, I think you've raised a very good point. So for students, we've also got our own enterprise center. So what it holds for students, if you've got a good idea, and it's kind of working really well, the
Mm.
university will support you financially as well. So
Yeah.
that's also,
Okay.
as a university, we're also trying to promote more and more, people coming up with entrepreneurial ideas, because that's also something that you would want to read, so that's also happening. But all in all, as I've said, it's a main campus. Please understand, this is not a branch campus. This is the main campus. So right in the heart of
Mm.
central London, zone 1, it's a pretty huge campus. I think the nearby areas, you'll find anything. We've got more than 70 or 80 restaurants. I think Elephant and Castle
Yeah.
as an area is also kind of growing. There's a lot of development happening there, which is obviously good for students as well. Um,
Mm.
Going a step forward, and I'm now going to give you a bigger picture. So the green ball that you can see out here is London South
Mm.
Bank University. The four small blue balls are four houses of accommodation. I just showed you one, which was McLaren
Mm.
House. The rest three are also within 5 and 10 minutes walking distance from the university. Now,
Okay.
just on a bigger area, as I've said, all these small yellow dots are interesting places that students generally visit. Now, those places you might visit because from a leisure angle, because see, when you're going
Yeah.
outside, it's not only studies, it's also about learning and kind of
Mm.
developing and getting to know more about the culture, the London life. So
Mm.
you get to experience that. As I've said, Leicester Square, Piccadilly Circus, Oxford
Mm.
Street, very, very close. From a employment standpoint, for
Mm.
students who look at architecture, right from the university, you have an access to very clearly see, the Shard, the walkie-talkie,
Mm.
the Tate Modern, the likes of Tate Britain. For kids who are looking at tourism, so key
Mm.
places, House of Parliament, Big Bang, Buckingham Palace,
Mm.
London, all these places are close to you. For students who are
Mm.
looking at the corporate center, it's kind of the regional offices, the headquarters of so many companies, be it's IT, be it's research, be it's the big fours in accountancy, or be it's research. Everything is kind of close to you, so you are in a very, very good location. It's a more strategic location from where everything can be accessed, and the more that you are familiar with the location where you eventually want to find a job, it's always going to be useful.
Okay.
And as I
One
said,
second. Sorry
yeah.
there. Yeah, so viewers, I know that already some of you already asked some question. We'll be back to your question. Please stay with us. Once you finish the presentations, we'll come back to you and we'll try to answer your question. Yes, please, Karan, back to you.
Yeah. Next is going to be looking at schools or departments. So in South Asia, we generally call it department, but outside it's called schools. So we have got 7 schools: applied sciences, art and creative industry, built environment and architecture, business, engineering, health, law, and social sciences. Now, I'm not going to go too much into each of these schools, but I'll give you a quick snippet of all of them so that we've got a fair idea. Happy to look at questions thereafter. School of Applied Sciences, I think courses like psychology, I think food bakery, they have been doing phenomenal. I think with psychology, I feel this is something as a career which is definitely going to go leaps and bounds. And we as a university have been doing really well. We're top in again London for career prospects in psychology. I think food bakery, I was very, very pleasantly surprised to know that we have got the oldest bakery school in the world. We in fact have been serving the royal family for a long time now. We just celebrated our
Mm.
120th year. So if you've got students who are keen to kind of and are interested in bakery and nutrition courses, I would suggest there is no other option. You should be looking at something like this. And I think because we have been there for such a long time, we've got very good connections with some of the best hotels and bakeries in Europe. So getting somebody place is actually a cake's walk. I think art and creative industry, I think for any students who is looking at taking up creative courses, I think something like a creative advertising with marketing, I think fashion promotion, journalism, theater, I think that's doing really well. And I think something which is unique about School of Art and Creative Industry is that all
Yeah.
the courses are very practical. Because you will be using a lot of equipment, so they're trying to ensure that you're getting the same flavor as you would get when you enter the corporate world. So there is no like gray area in between, because a lot of time what happens in our markets, what happens in South Asia with our academics is that we learn something, but nobody tells us how to put it to use practically. But
Yeah.
outside, find that it's more practical education. They're trying to make you more familiar with how the corporate world is going to be looking like. And also, I think a huge amount of investment has gone in our Elephant Studio, around £6 million. So, I mean, yeah, this is definitely, they're doing really well, and they've also got courses with come up with placements as well. Built environment and architecture. I think architecture and civil has been doing phenomenal as courses. 90% of kids are getting jobs in the first 6 months. Very, very important. I think for a lot of architectural students, they should know. I think a lot of universities, they charge you extra fee when you enter the university for anything that you're getting printed through a 3D printer. And it's pretty expensive. At LSBU, we don't charge anything extra. Everything is pretty much a part of the course fee. Also, for students who are concerned as to how their portfolio is going to be viewed, so we have shared some information on our website as to how the portfolio is going to, where the portfolio needs to get uploaded. Okay.
Okay.
Also, CIBSE, which is Chartered Institute of Building Service Engineers, it's a big firm, it's accredited firm, and it says out of the past 20 presidents, 13 have actually been alumni of London South Bank University. So that tells you that we've got a very good stronghold in terms of repo in the market. Okay. Then School of Business. I think this school has been doing wonderful in the last few years. I think, and one of the key reasons for that is that majority of the courses are coming either with internships or placements, which I think is one of the critical factors, at least for a lot of students from Bangladesh, any of the South Asian market. I think it has got all the accreditations as well. And, from things like using how to kind of work on a Bloomberg lab, doing a lot of simulation exercise. It's going to be a phenomenal experience for students. They're also trying to give a student a flavor of how does a startup work. So you'll find some setup at the university in the business school that will give you a feeling that you're actually in a startup. Giving you it gives you a startup feeling as well as also trying to give you a corporate feeling, because every student will have a different requirement and different interest level. So that is something that is also kind of happening in the business school. But I think great with accountancy, great with business management as a school. School of Engineering. So I think chemical, computer, mechanical has been doing well. Electric and Electronic, #1 modern university in London for the same. We in fact have got the biggest virtual engineering lab in Europe. Also, we don't share our labs with any other university, so it's not sharing basis. It's only for our own students. And something which is very, very important is that we should also be, as students, also be looking at what's the size of labs, because there is a certain class size and you want everybody gets an opportunity in a certain class. Our university labs are about 6,000 square meter, which is pretty huge. So everybody gets, an amazing kind of chances there. And at the same time, as a university, we kind of obviously are big and strong for gender equality. So we've got courses for females as well. Something which is called Women in Engineering. We were one of the first schools in the UK to kind of admit female engineers way back in 1920. Very quickly, I think on law. I think law has always been doing really well in the UK.
Yeah.
I think courses like international politics, refugee studies, development studies, or probably something like a tourism or hospitality management, which gives you an edge over students who are looking only tourism or hospitality. It works very well, especially with tourism and hospitality. The course also involves some excursion exercises wherein they will take you for an excursion activity. I think up till now we have been taking students to Belfast to do city marketing, which is again a fantastic thing, and the fee is also covered in the course fee, so you don't have to pay anything extra for that. We've also got an award-winning clinic which is called Legal Advice Clinic. That is something, if I have to put it in a very, very layman's language, it's like a dispensary for legal issues wherein any UK citizen can come in. There is no fees for that, and can get advice on legal issues around unemployment. It could be something with family matters. It could be something with business. And what's important for students is that it's only open for second-year law students, and they can come and be a part of those conversations, and they can see how cases are being managed. I think the amount of experience that they get at such a young age to kind of how to handle people, because you will find people out there who are crying, sharing their issues that they're facing. So you have to not only handle your own emotions, but to also handle them. What's the best way to kind of address the query? So I think it's an amazing experience for students at a young age, and that's only for law students. So it's called a Legal Advice Clinic. I think in terms of our entry requirements, so I'll go with IELTS first. Our IELTS requirement is 6 less than 5.5 at an undergrad level, and at a postgrad level, our requirement is 6.5, not less than 5.5. Okay. In terms of the academic requirements, at an undergrad level, the requirement is 4.5 out of 5 at an undergrad level. And for students who are looking at a master's, they need a 2.8 or a 70%. And this is the fee structure. So pretty much very easy to remember for all bachelor's and master courses. I think pretty much the fee is 14,470. We've got an international scholarship, as I mentioned earlier, of 1570, and a merit scholarship of 3,000 and 4,000 for bachelor's and masters.
So 1,570, sorry, is for everyone automatically get for this
Yes,
one?
yes. And then we've got a merit scholarship for those who are doing well. So the entry requirement for merit scholarship at an undergrad level is 4.8, and the entry requirement for a student at master's level is 3.5 out of 4. So if you get it, as I've said, if you're getting a merit scholarship, you will get it for the following years that you study at the university as well, as long as, yeah. And then there is early payment discount of 5% as well. So for example, for a student, if the fee is 14,470, and let's say he got a merit scholarship at an undergrad level, his fee comes down from 14,470 minus 3,000, that is 11,470. So 11,470, and if you're willing to pay the full payment, you get a 5% discount. So 11,470 minus 5% of 11,470 is going to be the actual fee that you will be paying. But that's entirely up to you if you want to do that. But our initial deposit at the moment is £3,500, but it's going to be changing to 50%. So I would suggest if there are students who are keen and who are kind of willing and interested, please feel free to kind of go ahead, and we'll still honor the £3,500 deposit to get you a CAS.
Fantastic.
Coming to our accommodation very quickly. So we've got 4 houses of accommodation right in the heart of central London: McLaren House, Diamond Woodwork, Dante Road, and New Kent Road. All are within 5 to 10 minutes distance from the university. Great public transport if you're traveling by bus, train, or underground. I would still say it's a very, very economical if you go by London standards. £126 was the fee for September 19 and Jan 20 intake. We still haven't got the revised fee, but I'm just trying to give you an idea that for some staying in central London zone 1, I'm sure Mr. Mohammed, you will have a better idea on this, that £126 by those standards, it's pretty economical.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Also, interesting things. You are not sharing your room with anybody. This is your own personal room. So you get your privacy there. No fee for utilities, for electricity, for water.
Yeah.
You don't need to pay anything. You get a central area on each floor for studies, for playing games, sitting down with friends. You get like a kitchen as well. The internet facility is pretty much there at the university. And as I said, from a safety and a security angle, only students who've got the student access card can kind of enter. And the amazing thing, because you're right opposite to the university, I think it's like even if you're getting late, in the morning, you just take a quick shower and you enter the university. Although I think research says that the closer you are to the destination, you're always late. It always happens. I think it's a fantastic opportunity, and look at it from an angle of saving costs, because had your accommodation been a little far off from the university, you would have been paying so much, probably three times a week to and fro. But you're saving all that money, and if you calculate that money over a period of 3 years, trust me, you can definitely visit maybe a decent place in Europe, maybe once during your studies at the university. So that's accommodation for you guys. Then comes the life center. I think the student life center plays a very, very important role for students, and they pretty much handle non-academic and educational issues for students. So right from things like accommodation advice, advices for students with special abilities, employment and career advice, financial advice, international student advice, mental health and well-being. I'm going to go quickly one by one. So for a student with special abilities, there could be a situation that you would want more time than a regular student to kind of complete your exam. So get in touch with those. They will help you. Be it around changing the structure of your accommodation. They'll be happy to kind of do that for students. Financial advice. What generally happens is that when we kind of go out, and this is something which has been observed, that when students are going out, and first of all, I think as kids, we are not that great in managing funds because we have never been given so much money in our account. So you get that freedom and that liberty when you're out. And when you get to see some of the best brands outside, you feel like buying everything because you're just kind of exposed to things that you always wanted in life. And end of the day, when you reach back to your hostel, you kind of realize, shit, I don't have money for next month. So you need people who kind of advise you when to buy, from where to buy, how to buy, which bank to open an account, how to get more discounts. So those are kids from your own country sometimes who are kind of advising you, who've learned from their failures and trying to tell you what's the right way to look at things. Or international student advice around what's the visa process like, what's the time when we should start working on that. So those are the people who are going to be helping you there. I think student at an undergrad level, trust me, it happens most likely with everyone, because we are very, very close to our family, and you feel homesick, especially in the initial time when you enter the university. So you need people. Um, there are people in the mental health and well-being who are kind of there to kind of support you through your ends. Now, something which is very, very important. Now, in the beginning, you saw me talking about employability being one of the biggest things for the university. And you saw me talking about some of the awards that the university has got as a result of employability. I've also kind of spoken about that, why employers prefer students from London South Bank University. Now, I'm going to be talking about what is it that we are doing at the back end. What's happening? What is it that the university is doing to get those awards? What is it that the university is doing that they're going up the rankings? What is it that the university is doing that students feel they have that confidence in us, and they feel like that we are doing really well on those areas. So number one, we've got a team that works day and night to kind of contact all the recruiters and find out where are job openings. So it's more like making n number of calls to find out, and then trying to share those information with our students through different channels. Number two, the team which is involved only in kind of organizing a lot of job fairs for students on campus. So they're trying to give that convenience to a student wherein they can meet the recruiters, create a bit of repo, share their profile with them right on the campus. Number three, we've got something which is called a career gym. Now, career gym is a very, very fancy name. Okay, like the way all of us ideally, although we don't do it, ideally we would like to go to a gym either to gain muscles or to reduce weight. Similarly, when you go to a career gym at London South Bank University, they will scan your profile. They'll tell you some of the strengths that you have as an individual, but they will also talk about things that we need to work on over the period of 1 year or the 3 years that you'll be spending at the university. So from things like helping you with personality development, how to conduct yourself, doing multiple interview mock sessions, doing multiple group discussion sessions with students. What is it that how you should be answering questions. So a lot of emphasis are done at that level to ensure that a student feels more comfortable and he can present himself or herself in the best way. Number four, there's a team which is only focusing on doing a lot of research around finding out what kind of careers are going to be more in demand in the market. 5 years back, nobody thought there's going to be a career like social media marketing. Right? We never thought about that, but now it's happening. So if that kind of research is not happening, it's important for a first year student to know what kind of careers are going to be coming up in the coming 3 years, so that they can ideally make changes and kind of keep their core strong, so that they can adjust and accommodate wherever necessary. Or things like what kind of skill sets they can additionally learn as individuals to kind of boost their profile. So that is something that also happens. So as I've said, all in all, I think there's a huge amount of effort that from the employment and the career team. And last but not the least is kind of obviously the clubs and societies. So we've got more than 70 societies currently kind of running at London South Bank University.
Actually,
Absolutely. And students should feel good about it. We've got, I think the biggest society is South Asian Society. They're pretty active. Obviously, the societies ranges from academic pursuits to politics to faith groups. We definitely have got a big. I think London South Bank University has been coming to Bangladesh for a long time. So I think pretty much a lot of people know us. Thanks to the love coming in from agents and then obviously from students and parents as well. But I mean, I think you've got a big community of a lot of Bangladeshis as well. And see, I mean, I will obviously have two sides to it. At one point, yes, having your own community, it's good. I would not deny that. But I would also point out that, it's important that students understand that end of the day, you're going there because you want to be a different person. Yes, it's good to have people from your community, but if you have too many, then there is going to be no learning. You will still be the same. And I want that any student who's going from the markets that I kind of handle be a changed person 3 years or 2 years down the line. So the more that you are with people from different countries, it's going to help you develop as an individual. Everybody wants to see a changed person when they come back to the home country, not somebody who went the same way, came back the same way. So great opportunity, I think, for students as well to be a part of different societies, learn about different people, different culture, how things kind of work, make friends. And, you'll have an amazing feeling, I think, 5 years from now when you see, I have one friend in Romania, somebody in Europe, somebody in Pakistan, somebody in India, rather than having friends only in our home countries.
Yeah, also,
So
Karen, I think London, one of the cities, very diverse city. Even there is a huge Nepalese, huge Pakistani,
yeah.
huge Bangladeshi. So if we compare to other city, so London, I think one of the most diverse city.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's pretty much true. And as I've said, I mean, I think the diversity aspect always helps. I mean, I think the benefit of diversity in education, I think especially with higher education, it kind of stretches far and wide. So there is no questions on that. It's always going to be an added advantage for students there.
Should we take some question? We got some
Yeah,
question here.
happy to do that, sir. Happy to do that.
Okay, so okay, we got from okay. I want to do MBA with placement. Do I need to any experience? Internship is paid.
So yeah, I mean, I think see, as far as MBA is concerned, I would not say that there is a rule of thumb that you need to have experience. Sometimes, yes, experience is always useful, and that's the whole purpose of doing an MBA. But there could be some cases wherein it's an excellent profile. So I would say it's more on a case by case basis. The I think the admissions team will be happy to kind of look at application and right reason as to why somebody wants to take up an MBA. I think in South Asia we have always been doing MBA right after our graduation, which I feel is not the right way because if you're doing it in South Asia, but obviously if you're looking at something outside, pretty much if it's a good profile, it's a genuine reason, and if people like it, they will obviously consider the student.
Okay, we got another question from
Yeah.
Khanakash. Okay, I have completed my graduation from the political science 2015. My graduation score is 3.4. May I apply without IELTS?
Yes, so I would say, I mean, first of all, you need to get in touch with our partner TCL Global. So get in touch with them. Share your academic profile with them, and as far as if your or rest of the documents are kind of making sense and they're doing fine, then we can definitely look at how the university would be happy to help you with some alternate way of kind of finding out if we can subside for your IELTS. But as I've said, get in touch with them first, send your profile to them, let them make an application, and then we take it from there.
Got another question from Rohan that due to COVID-19, how many recommendation letters is required to master's level at LSBU as some of the university accept only one reference letter in
Yeah, I
master?
mean, I think, yeah, from my knowledge, I think one reference letter should be fine. But um, it's difficult, I believe, also to get a reference letter at this point in time because companies are also shut down. So I'm not sure if anybody can get like a printed version. But in some cases, there could be a possibility that an email coming in from an employer could also work. So again, my suggestion is that if you've already made an application to the university, ask your agent um, to kind of send an email to the university citing out that that's the only condition that's left. And the university would be more than happy to be flexible on that. If you have not made an application, please again get in touch with TCL Global, share your documents with them, and they'll make an application on your behalf, and then we take it forward from there.
Okay, thank you. How much the minimum payment for the receiving cash for the
Yes, so at the moment it's £3,500, but as I said, the university would be shifting to 50%. So my suggestion is not that I'm quoting anybody, but for somebody who is already keen and who wants to, who is kind of positive and is kind of looking at the positive side, make an app. If you made an application, submit the payment of £3,500, and the university will honor it. I I don't have a clear deadline of when it's going to shift it from £3,500 to 50%. So if you want to take the advantage, you can do it now.
Okay. For undergraduate application, that does the student need to apply through the UCAS or direct application?
It's entirely up to them. We are okay with both ways.
Both ways, okay.
Yeah.
So we get some more questions here. May I know about the university scholarship, Shamim?
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, I think as far as Shamim, I mean, I think obviously it's a very, very important question at this point in time for students. So, we have got an international scholarship. So, at the university, as I said, we kind of value the academic and cultural diversity that international students bring to the university. So, we've got a scholarship of 1570 that is offered to all students, self-funded students, self-funded overseas paying students undertaking undergrad, postgrad, and PhD. Also, we've got a merit scholarship, which is up to £4,000. So £3,000 merit scholarship for undergrad, 4,000 for postgrad. We've also got a LSBU loyalty award, which is around 10%. So for students who have studied at LSBU, let's say at an undergrad level, and they wanted to kind of pursue their education forward to a postgrad, they will get an additional discount there. If not, even if you, let's say, studied at an undergrad level and you went out to kind of explore the markets and do some placements, even after 2 years, you come back and you want to pursue again, you will again get an additional discount. So I think after 2015, if you've done something of that sort, you'll get an advantage there as well. And also, more importantly, the scholarship that you get, especially either international or the merit one, that scholarship you will continue to get it in the following years. Very, very important.
Very important, exactly.
Yeah.
Our counselor always are asked that about the part-time jobs, that on campus or the surrounding.
Absolutely.
So
Very
what advice you give to the students, please? Yeah.
Yes, I mean, I think definitely, I think part-time job is something which is I think really important for all of us international students. So two things. Number one, we've got something which is on campus, which is we hire student ambassadors 2 times during the academic year, and the role of a student ambassador could be from simple things like helping new people who are coming for open days, guiding them, sometimes doing some ad hoc work. Sometimes it could be handling the new students who have come. Let's say we hired somebody as a student ambassador from Bangladesh, and in the next intake, let's say January, you've got students coming in from Bangladesh. So that person can kind of handle those kids because culturally they're pretty similar and they kind of understand each other, and those are paid jobs as well. In addition to that, obviously you can work 20 hours a week during the academic year, but during the break time you can work 40 hours a week as well. And also, because we are in a student area, it's very, very easy to find job outside as well. I think students have been pretty, I think I've not heard students saying that we have not been able to find it or it's very far off. It's pretty easy. And I think you get something between £9 to £11, depending upon the situation and the kind of work that you're doing.
As I know that Slogan Southbank is working with the Cambridge Educational Group for the foundation. All the foundation is offered from the CEG, through the CEG, or is there any direct foundation as well from the Southbank?
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. I think we obviously have got a lot of partners for foundation, but CEG is, I would say, a very, very strong partner that we have. And I think I kind of missed it there. So the entry requirement for Bangladeshi students is essentially for CEG foundation is Bangladeshi, I think, senior school certificate or maybe a higher education certificate with a decent grades. And the IELTS requirement is 4.5 or equivalent with no single element less than 4 for a 3-term undergraduate foundation program.
Okay, I got again one question. Okay, I sent my documents to TCL, but they told me about the need IELTS. I would like to go to May and September intake. I think there is no May intake, isn't it?
No, we don't. Unfortunately, we don't have a May intake. But see, I mean, as I've said, I think as a university, we are looking at a lot of options as well. So I would say, please be a little patient. We will be coming very, very soon with some solution to that. We see, as I've said, common sense has to prevail here. It's not only for us; it's for all the universities. They understand, all of us, as all the universities in the UK. They understand that students are in a problem. Be it's refunds, be it's English test, be it's not getting reference letters, be it's not getting your degrees. We know that. So I think you should not worry about these things at all. You should just leave that for us to kind of handle. It's for the bigger community to look at what is the best way to help students get a smooth entry into the UK. All we want you to do at this moment is just stay at home, take care of yourself, maintain social distancing. That's what is important for you guys for now. Don't take unnecessary pressure, because see, any which case, what will happen? If you look at it in a way, let's accept it. September, in case, let's say it doesn't happen, maybe October, maybe November, maybe January. But I think what is important right now is, stay positive, take care of yourself, and these kind of questions for universities, and keep checking your emails, because you will be getting these emails quite often now from universities. Because see, the guidance is going to be changing quite often. Even if I have a solution today for you, that solution might not be valid 1 week from now, because the situation is such that nobody knows. Like, there is no single password for this kind of a problem. The problem is changing every day. And I'm hopeful. I'm 100% sure that things will definitely improve. I think it's I heard this somewhere. It's a pretty amazing thing that we actually, all of us, we are right now in a race wherein all we need to do is not run, and we'll still win it, because you don't want to go outside your houses. Stay at your home, and leave it for us to kind of find solutions for you guys on all
Yes,
those solutions.
for the viewers, what I say that although our office is closed in Dhaka and around the world, but still our council is working from home. You can easily contact them. You can send an email. They will get back to you, and still you can apply for the South Bank University. Although everywhere is locked down, but our counseling team actually working from home remotely. They'll be able to help you if you have any question.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
So pretty much live almost, I think it's over the past 1 hour. Any particular thing actually we're missing, Karan, that
I
you're,
mean, I think pretty much kind of covered. I mean, I think, as I've said, I think London South Bank as a university is a very, very good for somebody who is looking, who wants to first of all come to London, which is obviously important. Who, who, who is somebody who obviously wants a university which is very, very good with academics. Um, Something which is affordable, that kind of suits their budget as well. A pretty affordable accommodation.
yeah,
Everything is in and around you, and the most important thing that you want is employability. If you're looking
yeah,
at these options, I think we are very good, a good combination. See, I'm sure every student, we will not be the right option for every student, but for somebody who's looking at something like this, affordability is a concern. Accommodation could be sometimes a concern. But we know, I think as South Asians, we want the best in minimum. So I think from those angles, it works out really well, because I think as a university, we pretty much understand what students are eventually looking for. And I think that's how university should be. That's what university should be striving for, is ensuring that the end result comes out well. This one student who kind of brought this up with me, he said that, Karan, when you get to know about one of the best hotels or restaurants, let's say in a certain city, you are excited about going to that restaurant. You enter the restaurant, right from the ambience, you love it. The cutlery, you love it. The food, amazing. You love the fact that the head chef came to you and asked you for a feedback of how you found the food. But towards the end, right towards the end, you felt that the manager was trying to push you, because he wants other people to also come in, because it's one of the most famous restaurants. Now,
yeah,
what happened? Even though your entire experience was positive from day one to probably the second last day, towards the end, your experience went down. And in
yeah,
these situations, you would never recommend that restaurant to somebody else. It's
yes,
similar. It's important that first student understand what are they trying to achieve by going to that university. Is it only education? Great. Is it education plus employability? Great. Is it employability? If you know what you want towards the end, it's going to help you, because I think end of the day, sometimes students realize this very late. But if you know it from the beginning that I want a job, that's very, very important for me. It's going to make your life much more easier when you're making decisions on which university. And see, I think for students, this is a great time, because see, as kids, we never got a chance to select our own school. Now you're getting an opportunity to select a university of your own choice. And remember, whatever university you choose is going to be on your resume for the rest of your life. You can't erase that. So make sure that you take the right decision. Make sure that you get in touch with the right people who are helping you or guiding you right from day one as to what is the right thing. But it's important that you also do a little bit of research and find out what do you want essentially as an individual. We would love that, if all of you guys come to London South Bank University, but I'm sure for some students they will have a different requirement, and that's absolutely fine. I mean, we wish the best of luck to them as well. But for those who are looking, as I've said, right in the heart of central London as a university, the accommodation is close to you. Very, very, I think, like a humble fee and a humble accommodation fee as well. And more importantly, employability.
yeah.
Employability is going to help you. And I think that's what we want into the day.
Thank you, Karan. Thank you very much, actually, for giving us time today. And I think definitely the student found very productive. And
Yep.
even some of the things, if actually student wants to contact, please contact our team on the ground. They will get back to you with the informations. And it's difficult time for everyone. I understand.
Absolutely.
Please stay safe with your family, and hopefully the worst will actually will over. We are hoping so.
Yep.
Um, and thank you very much, all the viewers, for staying with us. And I will be get back to again we online again Facebook Live with another university and institution.
Yep.
Um, Thank you very much, everyone. Take care.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye.